Hello, and welcome to the live stream or whatever is going on. I'm doing a question and answer, and there's no one watching yet. But if you're watching this from the actual, oh wow, what the heck is going on? Whoa, everything's going crazy on my computer. But you guys have wanted some questions answering, so I'm going to answer your questions, and I'm just going to work out how Google Hangout works because I've never used it before, or I have, but not lately. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at this and working out what is going on with the Google Hangouts. Right, let's have a look. It's basically 12, and I'm going to wait for you guys to roll in, hopefully. This is my office that I'm in at the minute. Hopefully you guys can understand what's going on and everything. Let's have a look. I'm going to go and try and go to YouTube and check the stream. And so I can see everything that's going on. I do not know what is going on. Let's try this. I've got a coffee with me, so it makes everything a heck of a lot easier to deal with. I've actually come out of a working day for this. Not a whole working day, obviously, but for quite a bit of a working day, so I can start doing a hangout with you guys and answer any of your questions. So let's have a look. I've got a notification. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. For some reason, this has made YouTube very slow, the Google Hangout. I don't know why. Part 2, people are coming on. This is the first, by the way. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I don't know if anyone's watching yet. I need to work it out. Right, okay. I think that's all my notifications. It's actually going crazy with notifications at the minute. Right, let's go to my channel and hopefully it will work on my channel. If not, I'm going to have to whap out my laptop, which I think might be a better idea. Or get rid of Illustrator. Okay, let's have a look. Change trailer. Can I do it? Can I do that? No, I can't. Okay. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see me. Can anyone see me? I'm freaking. Oh, wow, we've got 9 people. Right, okay. Can you chat so I could tell if you're in here? Wow, you've scared the crap out of me there. The amount of people. I'm trying to find the video. Now we've got 11 people. Sweet. Let me have a look. I'm trying to work it out. How do you take notes for design? Hang on a sec. Let's start the questions in a couple of minutes. I need to work this out. Oh wow! So I'm looking at me now. Okay, live control room. Let's have a look at the live control room. It'll make it easier. I'm sorry, I'm not the best at viewing this, but we'll have a look, and I'll be answering any of your questions in 2 seconds as soon as I've worked out what the heck is going on. Give me 2 seconds. Let's have a look. I won't mind actually knowing if this works or not. I want to see if you've got any questions. What is going on? I do not want to share my screen. I just want to hear what you guys are doing. Okay, right. I'm going to be answering all your questions. So what's the first question? From Lulu. Is that how you spell it? Lulu. Hey guys, what's up, Leo? What's up, Heather? You guys are cool. Okay, I think there should be a place where you can ask questions. I've put the Q&A bit up, but I don't know how that works properly. So I'm going to go ahead and suggest that I look on my computer here. So how do you take notes for designing a flyer? So I don't really understand your question there, but are you talking about a brief, or are you talking about how notes are taken when you're getting briefed about a flyer, or are you talking about creating the text on the paper? be specific, I can specifically answer. That'll make it a bit easier, I think. I want to see what is going on. Hello, let me just type it in on the thingamajig. Anybody there? Okay. I'm now waiting for all your questions, and if I'm doing this completely wrong, tweet at me or Instagram me or something, because I need to work out what the heck is going on. Let's have a look. Okay. Apparently my stream is quite bad. So that is that's funny. Let me know if the quality is okay. Let me know what to do if you are enjoying it or whatever. Give me some questions. I've got a question answer thing on Google Hangout, but don't know how it's going to happen. Ask your audience to submit questions and they will appear below. So not really sure about that. It's early here, but I'm ready. Thanks for the invitation. No worries, mate. Let's have a look. I've got some other people commenting and stuff. Oh, wow. I want to know where these questions are coming from, because I think Google Hangouts is just not working correctly. I'm not seeing any chat or anything in my Google Hangout, but that is okay. I'll just keep refreshing the YouTube page and answer your questions. Okay, so the first question, hi guys, nice to see you all. The first question I'm going to ask is from Santiago Gonzalez, I think, and that is, how did you begin your career and what is your title now? That's a very strange question that leads on to a lot of other questions, if you get me drift. Let me just get back onto there. I'm on my Illustrator now. How did I start my career or begin it? When I was in college, I did business studies at college, and it was great. I did a level 2 business studies, and I really enjoyed doing that. And yeah, it was basically typing up reports and stuff. You didn't learn much. But I was in there, and I'm a massive Christian, huge Christian. And basically I was in going to church back then, and still am now. And I was doing college work and all that sort of stuff. And basically from there, I basically got a thought about doing graphic design. Now beforehand, before college and stuff, I wanted to do like something within the church, work within the church, and I still do at some point during my life. But a massive hobby of mine was Photoshop, and I guess that's how most people start. I basically played on Photoshop at college during some of our projects. That I would be the project manager within our sort of apprenticeship or apprentice modeled classes, and basically from there I started to enjoy creating stuff for the project, like the branding of a product, that a fake product that we're doing, or just a poster to advertise for a fundraising event that we're doing at college. I started to enjoy that, and I started playing around with Photoshop. I downloaded Photoshop at home, and I started playing around with that. And then about a year later, I started playing on Illustrator, and then I started to realize how fun it was, and like people wanting the work that I was doing. And I started my full-time job from there. And basically, it's a very strange story, but I felt that God told me to go and do it. I felt that he wanted me to go and do it, and that's the reason why it's going okay right now. I've never had any sort of formal teaching on graphic design or logo design. I've been self-taught, and I've been online looking at different things that I could learn and stuff like that. So that's basically the way that I started my career. And my title is now on the tax forms, I'm called The Man William Paterson, and that's just because I could put that title there, The Man. So that's a fun title. Okay, let me just have a look at all your other comments for a second. I wish my comments would come up or the questions would come up in this question and answer thing here, but I don't. Doesn't appear to be doing that. Right, next question. Let's have a look. I don't know. Okay, so here's Louis Lou's question that I was going to do, but then I didn't do because I didn't understand it at first. But here we go again. How do you take notes for designing a flyer? Like, let's say they want a trifold brochure and they're giving you information. How would you take notes or ask the questions? Like, do you ask colors, shapes, theme? Okay, so let me read that again. How do you take notes for designing a flyer? They want giving you information. How would you take notes or ask questions? Oh, okay. When someone comes up to you and asks for you to do, like, say, if it was a flyer or a business card. Now, you know, a flyer and a business card is very much the same. And within my job, I never do flyers really. I've done them before, but I stick with the branding. I stick with stationery. So I'm not a complete professional within flyer design, or anything like that. I'm more of a guy where I'll do the logo design and I'll get someone that I'm working with to do the the business card or the flyers, depending on the brand that I've created. So I'm more of a like I design the logo sort of thing, and then someone else does the business card. But what I do know is that if you're getting a brief from a client or a potential client, then, or if they've asked you to do a flyer, they need to be specific. Now, I think we as designers can beat ourselves up quite a lot because we want to make sure that what we're doing it is the best that we can, and we take all the responsibility ourselves. Now, I can understand why you want to ask questions about the color and the theme and stuff like that, and you need to. Basically, when it comes to the brief stages, which is when they ask you about what colors should I put on the flyers, or when they ask you if you can do the flyer design, then you need to ask them very specific questions. If they go to you and say, we don't know, then they still need to come up with an answer at some point. Because in my experience, unless they are completely wowed with what you've got, or unless they are completely in awe of what you've made, then there's going to be something in their minds that doesn't like it. So asking a company to give you the colors, the themes, etc., is a vital part. Now, I'm working on a logo design with a company called Suspects, and they are really cool. Suspects New York City, and they're a photography company. They're very cool. I'm doing branding for them. I'm redesigning their logo, making it look a bit different, and I'm doing a monogram. Now, during the process at the start, I asked them some questions. They told me exactly what they like, what they don't like, where they got their inspiration from, all the colors, all the history, all the people that work in the company, all the job roles, where they work, who they work with. And not only that, they're contacting me on a daily basis. Now, I'm from the UK, so actually talking to people from America can be a bit difficult. So it means that I have to like go home on an evening and do an email before I go to bed, and then I wake up and I've got an email from my work, which is sometimes quite nice because then you don't have to sit on your computer all the time. But that company, Suspects, gave me a PDF, and I put out a tweet yesterday saying, I love it when clients give detailed company branding guidelines, because they gave me a guide which limits my brain in what I can do. Because in graphic design, we are so free to do whatever we want to do. We can just say, oh, if someone wants a logo, our brains go into overdrive and we're like, yeah, we could do this, we could do this. But the client is very specific. The client doesn't know what you're thinking. So he needs to be specific with how he's communicating it, and doing a branding guideline, talking about the history of the company, talking about all the rest of like the colors and everything to do with the logo or the idea they've got in their head. It needs to be done. And if the client doesn't give you that, you just need to keep asking questions. And from there, that's whether I decide I want to work with these people or not. And yeah, so that is basically how I do that. I hope that helps. Okay. I'm just going down the list, so I'm sorry if I can I'm going to refresh the page. But what is your inspiration by Joel? Okay, so my inspiration. That's a very strange thing. When I first started graphic design out, or when I first started my career, if that's a more professional way of putting it, um, the main inspiration that I had, I think, was just like Apple and Adobe. Because you see, Apple, I've got an iPhone box over here. They've got such a cool brand, and everything is so simple and very minimalist. And you know, it's Apple is known for its awesome designing of their boxes and their phones and everything like that. And I think that was my inspiration. Until I started reading like books and looking at Behance and DeviantArt, I started to see other people's views on graphic design, and from there, I sort of got inspired by the old vintage and modern, or the post-modern vintage style. Take my hat off. And then, yeah, from there, that's basically where I started to understand a bit more about what I wanted to do. So my inspiration is gathered in loads of different areas. So yeah, I hope that helps. It's a very strange thing. Okay, so what is the most time your inspiration? That same guy. How much time do you spend every day on Photoshop and Illustrator? Okay, so when you're a logo designer, you generally spend most of your time in a notepad, and it sounds very counterproductive, but I'll show you my notepad here because I said it on the video I would. Now, obviously, I'm on my computer now, but this notepad is the savior of my whole career, because this is where I get all my sort of ideas down. This is where everything in my brain is jumbled and down onto here. Now, I need to be careful what I show you, just because there's things in there that I don't want everyone to see. Okay, I can't show you that. No, I can show you that. Okay, so basically here, this is like my logo design process of a monogram. I don't know if you can see that. But within that, there is like a few ideas of something that I'm creating for suspects and things like that. And I spend most of my time doing the drawing, and then I take a picture of it on my iPhone and I put it onto Illustrator. And the Illustrator part doesn't take long at all. You guys may be thinking that you spend a lot of time in Illustrator when doing logo designs and stuff like that. Sometimes that's the case. Like most of my morning has been spent on Illustrator. I'm on Illustrator right now in the background, and you know, most of my time spent on Illustrator today. But it really depends. If you're doing a branding concept, then you're never really on Illustrator, especially for my style of work, which is hand lettering and hand drawn logos and stuff like that. So I never on Photoshop. I go on it once every 2 days, I think, and I spend about 10 minutes doing it because there's no reason for me to be on it. Again, like I have people who do my business cards, and I have people doing like all the other bits of graphic design for me, because I focus on the branding, I focus on the logo. And if I want to get better at my logo design, I get people doing my business cards for me. So Photoshop, I never really go on it that much unless I'm like editing like a logo or putting a logo to an image in the background. So that's generally it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh my page, have a bit of coffee, and then have a look at your other questions. Let's have a look. Let me know if everything's going all right on the stream. This is the first time I've gone onto it. Okay. How do you find design work? I avoid websites like Freelancer since 80% of the jobs don't even pay minimum wage on there, but honestly don't know how. But I honestly don't know where else to look. I have also a personal question, if you don't mind. Just wondering how you found your religion. Were you always religious, or was it something you discovered later in life? That's a really good question, dude. Okay, so I can't pronounce your name, but it's Obsidiax, I think. So I'll go through your question. So how do you find design work? If you guys are wanting to ask any questions, by the way, just stay on here. I'm going through everyone's questions. So every comment is going to be absolutely answered. So don't worry, I will answer your question. I don't care how many there is. I'll stay on longer than I thought if I don't answer everyone's comments, but I will answer everyone's comments. Okay, so here we go. How do you find design work? I avoid websites like Freelancer since 8% of the jobs don't even pay minimum wage, but they're wage on there, but honestly don't know where else to look. Okay, so doing design work is a strange thing. Generally, I think graphic designers have got it a bit harder because when we do work, people like will bargain with us. They'll say, oh, I'll do it for this. I'll say, okay, let's put it this way. I'll make it easy for you guys. So sometimes what I get is I get clients coming to me and I say to them, my average price for this is this. But I say to them, I'm more than willing to work with your budget. And I say that right off the bat, so there's no pressure for them at all. But that leaves a lot of pressure to me. Some of them, I'll say about, £500 for something, and they'll go 250, like £250. That's like £500 is like $1,000, I think. And basically from there, I'll get my work. I don't know where I was going with that, but basically stay away from freelancer.com, stay away from Fiverr. Fiverr.com is ruining the graphic design community. You guys are better than that, and that website is made by a couple of people who own the website who want to make a bit of money. They're not helping anyone. All these websites do is it influences the clients who go onto there and conditions them to believe that your time and that your resources and your work isn't worth more than $5 or worth more than however much they're paying. There's a place called People Per Hour. Now, I think that's a pretty good website. People Per Hour is pretty decent. I'll link it somewhere at some point. But yeah, so Freelancer, don't go on to it. I have a strict sort of payment of what I get paid. If a client comes to me, I'll make sure I get paid. How do I find this work? Well, I'm at the point just now where work comes to me. And that's a really nice place to be, is in I don't need to go out and find work. I always get people emailing me asking if I can do something for them. And basically I choose from the best people I want to work with, not with the most high paid, because generally the higher the pay, the harder the work's going to be in the end. And the more entitled people think they are to the work that you're giving. So basically I go ahead and I have a strict charge for my logo design, and it changes every now and then to either higher or lower depending on what I need to earn. But I still, within that strict rule of how much I make, I always have I always bend it and break it. Rules are meant for breaking, and I generally go ahead and work within people's budgets as well. But if you're doing work, make sure you're always getting paid. Don't go onto Fiverr, because all that's doing is it's ruining the community. And especially don't do free work, as in I've had people saying, can you do this for free and I'll give you experience? And I'm like, well, no, because I need to pay the bills. My job, even though it's sat doing something or maybe drawing something, it's still mentally time consuming and also a challenge. It's a communication problem that we have with clients. Luckily, most of my clients know and they pay and stuff like that. And that is why contracts are so important. Okay, so the next question that he had was, I have also a personal question, if you don't mind. Just wondered how you found your religion. Were you always religious, or was it something you discovered later in life? Okay, so by that, I'm a Christian. I believe that Jesus Christ has saved me, and he is the reason why I'm doing all this. And I'm getting married in a few years' time. No, in a few weeks' time, which is going to be cool. And yeah, so I wasn't always religious. I'm a Christian. I go to a church called Influence Church. You can go to influencechurch.co.uk to check out the website. And yeah, I basically, I found, well, Jesus found me at 12, and I've completely forgotten now. I know my story. Caught me off guard that, but yeah, when I was 12, I was invited to a youth meeting, and I kept on going and going and going. Then I believe that, I had a few problems back then with anxiety. I wasn't doing the best stuff in life, and I was hanging out with the wrong people. And I know it doesn't seem bad to us now, but when I was 12, it seemed quite bad. And yeah, I had a lot of horrible thoughts, and my life was just filled with anxious thoughts for my future. Teachers were telling me that, you're not going to amount to anything. And basically from that, in the church, I went on going. And then I basically said, if you're real, these people are banging on about a God and all that. And I said, if you're real, Jesus, help me. And in that moment, Jesus lifted something off me. He exchanged my anxiety for peace. And ever since then, I'm completely sold out for him. And, he's changed my life, completely changed it, transformed it. And, he hasn't given me like the easiest or the best life. He's given me a life where I know I'm saved by him, and that no matter what happens, he's still good and everything like that. So yeah, I discovered it later in life. And, dude, I reckon if I could, I would tell all you guys about how good he is and like everything like that. And, maybe I could do another stream talking about my religious perspective later on. But I'm going to go through other questions. Otherwise, no one's going to get answered. Okay. Hope that helps. What's the best way to construct a portfolio in order? I'm just going to go with what's the best way to construct a portfolio. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that question. Okay, so when it comes to portfolios, I'm not the best at putting out my portfolio things, and I'm not the best at putting out stuff about my work or anything like that, because all my work, most of it is actually contracted to confidentiality, and they're fully licensed for other people. I have a website where I create contracts, and they'll have a contract as well, and we'll merge it together. And most of the time they say, we do not want this in your portfolio or on your YouTube channel. So I don't generally put it up too often. I have a few big projects that I put up every now and then, and that makes it a bit easier. But the best way for you guys to construct a portfolio is to, depending on where you want to go in the graphic design sort of segments, there's a lot of different sub stages of graphic design. The best place for you guys to go would be to start creating fake company logos and brands. And then the whole idea of a portfolio is when you've created the logo, you need to show the process of the logo design that you've created. So it's sort of like in maths at school. The teachers will be like, I don't care about your outcome. I just want to know how you got there. So all you're adding up subtractions and stuff like that. And it's the same way with the portfolio. You just need to show the people watching that, the audience, like say if you I've had a lot of people apply to work for me as an apprentice, and they'll show me their portfolio, and they're very good because, even though the end result isn't exactly how I would have done it, I've seen their working out. I've seen how their evolution of design, and from there, I've sort of worked out that they've got the right mind to do the design work. They just need a bit of help, and that's basically how you do it. Create a company brand, do all the stationery, but make sure you focus on the logo that you're creating and why. Is in like give a backstory and make it look presentably nice. Now, mine's very simple, but a lot of people like to create backgrounds for it. And other images. So yeah, that's a way that you can construct your portfolio. Okay, here we go. I'm going to just go to the next question. Heather Armstrong, how are you doing? How do you design a complicated logo? I made a simple one for my graphics exam, but my teacher said it was too simple. What teacher do you have? Maybe it would help if like I saw the logo before I started like slating the teacher or anything like that. But how do you design a complicated logo? I think the better question to ask, or the better question not to ask, sorry, that sounds really rude. The better question that's in my mind is how to make a complicated logo in your mind simpler. That is the way it has to be. Now, a logo that I do can be very, very complicated, and that's just the way It sometimes is. It can be uber complicated, and it won't look good. Let me try and like give an example. So when I'm doing a typographic logo like my own that you can see at the top of the screen, maybe, that I made all the vintage stuff for it, and I wanted it full of vintage stuff. So there's a lot of hierarchy and layout, and people may think that's more complicated. And yes, it is more busy because there's so many words in it. But if you wanted to make a complicated logo, you just need to make sure your layout is perfect. Like your layout is like, everything is squared or circular. If you're creating a simple logo, it's generally with geometric shapes or with one shape. I know like the Apple logo is extremely simple. I'll show you the back of my iPhone. Actually, I'll show you it on here, make it a bit easier for you to see. But the back of the phone, like there's the Apple logo. It's all done by like circles and stuff like that. And oh, hang on a sec, someone's trying to find me. I get 4. I don't know what's going on. If someone could help someone who's tweeted at me get onto the stream, that would be good. But yeah, so the logo design aspect of the Apple logo, everything's done with circles, and that's how you create a simple logo that has been complicated. I think the best way to create a logo like the Diet Coke logo is to get all your ideas down onto a notepad and make sure this notepad is only for your ideas and like maybe some drafts. And from there, you work out how to make it simpler or more complicated, because it really depends on what you're trying to go for with that sort of logo style. Okay, so the next question is from Heather again, where it says, what qualifications do you have in graphic design? Do you have to do it at university? Do you have to go to university to get work? I'm not allowed to say what qualifications I have, but I've never been to a university. I'm not going to tell everyone what I have got, like a certain qualification, but I'm not allowed to say, which is unfortunate. But generally, you don't need to go to university to get a qualification in graphic design. If someone wants a logo from you or work from you, they should look at your portfolio and want that work, as in like want your ability. They don't want to look at a piece of paper. I mean, any piece of paper could tell like me that I could be a bricklayer or I could be like a builder, but it doesn't mean I can build a house. It's the same way with university, is in like although university is good and college is good and stuff like that, it doesn't mean that you can actually design something well. I always say that your experience with other clients is more valuable than going to university, because nowadays, I'm going to just be blunt here, nowadays you can learn everything you can in a university online for completely free or a very small price. Like I've done a logo design curious course that is going to be finished later on today. I'm doing the rest of the recording for it. And you learn some of that stuff like in uni, and I've never been or taught at a uni, so I've never been taught at a university or a college. I've taught myself. I've read books, and I've got my own style for things, and I've got the eye for it. And I spent a lot of hard work getting to where I am now, and still spending more work, spending more time getting to the place where I want to be. But no, you don't have to go to university. Long story short, don't have to go to uni if you want to do some graphic design or logo design. It can help, but it doesn't always help. Sometimes it can be a hindrance, because as soon as you come out from uni, then you're not really got a place to work. But although saying this, if you guys wanted to work in a studio, and I'm talking from a freelance perspective here, because I've worked in a studio, like I've been contracted to a studio like a couple of times, but that soon ended because I'm not really the best in a studio setting. And if you want to work in a studio, they will ask for a qualification, and that is to prove that you understand the theory. But when it comes to client work, because the clients don't understand the theory either, they don't really care. They just want to have your ability. And for me, my qualification is my portfolio. That's my experience. My qualification is my reputation online and like what people give, and like, yeah, just the way that I teach things as well. People have that. Okay, I'm going to just refresh the page again. There's a guy on my Twitter that wants to come onto the stream called Nicola, and it's at Johnny Blue 83. If someone could like get her on, if that would be cool, just so like I can keep answering your questions here. I'm waiting for it to load up again. Let's have a look. Sorry that it's going a bit funny. I've never done this before, so it should be okay. Okay, so we've got a lot more. Whoa, loads of questions. Okay. Also, what tips can you give to someone who wants to start a business in graphics? Any pro tips, as you have been designing for quite some time now? I take my designing inspirations from you, as I like your aesthetics for the same. Okay, so the first question. Also, what tips can you give to someone who wants to start a business in graphics? The first tip that I will give you is you've got to see graphic design as not a business, but like sort of a hobby at first. The best tip I can give you is keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. Like you have to practice all the time. You have to be looking out for graphic design. It's a very consistent thing. You need to be consistently creating things and stuff like that, if you get my drift. So if I was, I'm a logo designer, but I'm not only creative in my logo designs. I play guitar. I like to slap the guitar around. I like to take photographs. I like photo manipulation, and I write a lot. And you guys don't see all that, but I like to do creative things other than logo design. And what that helps me do is it helps me understand logo design more. Strangely enough, it helps me understand it more, if you get my drift. Because it's a different way of being creative. It sort of leaves more options open in your head of what you can do, and it expands your knowledge. So another tip for that would be to find a hobby where you can be creative. I've got like a watercoloring set behind me there. That's for when I'm working and I get a bit, not bored, but when things start to get a bit stale in my head, I will like go ahead and start like doing typographic things like this. It's not very good because I'm just playing around with it, but yeah, typographic things like that. Okay, so that's basically it. How to improve in drawing, especially in infographics. How to improve in drawing. I don't know if you guys have seen my drawings before. It's not that they're not that great, and the best drawings that I have are like logo designs. I can draw geometric shapes and stuff like that. But a good way to improving your drawing is, one, get the tools that are needed. So everyone's heard of a mechanical pen. Oh, sorry, mechanical pencil. I've got one here. It's a graph gear. It's a really cool pencil. I don't know if you can see that very well. But it's really good. You can add different leads to it, and it's really a fine point. It's really retractable and stuff like that. But the best way, you all heard it. Sorry, I'm going off my head here. If you're using this, you need to stop. If you're using this, carry on. This is a clutch pencil, and everyone asks me on Instagram, what brush are you using there? And I get a bit confused. I'm like, what do you mean brush? They're asking about this. Now, this is it's a Staedtler Mars Technico clutch pencil. And basically, this is a pen, like a mechanical pencil, but with a thicker lead that gets sharper. And this is a lead pointer. And from here, you basically sharpen your lead. So I'm going to measure it like so. And then I'm going to put it in here. When you spin it around, it sharpens your lead. And you get a very fine, and I mean a really sharp point on there. But this lead actually comes out like so, and it's really thick. And this has got like a little mouth system on it. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it basically clutches it in and holds it in place. And that is the way that these work. And like, it's really cheap actually. It's about £3 for this pencil, and then I think £6 for the lead, and you get different kinds of lead and stuff like that. So make sure you're using a clutch pencil, and also like squared paper. That's another one. How long have you been doing graphic design work? How did you also get into it? I've been doing graphic design work for 4 years now. And by that, I mean, started my job about 3 years ago, started messing around with it 4 years ago. But ever since I was about like 10, I've been using Photoshop. And yeah, it's just been a place where I could like create different photos and stuff like that. What got me into it was I saw people at my church playing with Photoshop, doing graphic design work, and I was like, that is really cool. And also just like playing around with it in Photoshop. But it doesn't really matter how long you've been, well, it does, it matters how long you've been doing it. But as long as you are creative with graphic design, you'll get to where you need to be. What is your inspiration? I've already answered that. I'm going to go ahead and go down to some of these. What is your pay like? Personal question. Sorry. Hang on a sec. My pay's okay. I'm not going to discuss like much about my payment because it is a bit of a personal question. And I wish I could be more open about it, but because I don't just earn from like graphic design client work, I earn from referral systems and YouTube and like, you know, companies that want to support me and different subscription things. And yeah, I earn from loads of different ways. So put it this way, Naomi earns more than me. I'll put it that way. And Naomi is my wife to be, and she works, I won't tell you where she works, but yeah, she earns more than me. And I mean, when I get paid, it's a bit different to someone else getting paid. And the reason why I can do this job is because I've got like YouTube and I've got the support networks that I have that will help me. But when I do get paid, it's pretty decent. But sometimes you can get a dry spell of work. So like you're left without any money. So being a freelancer, you've got to be like pretty on the ball with your money, and you've got to have like some in the bank. Basically, I'll leave it at that. Did you design your own website or get someone else to do it? I designed it myself with the help of one of you guys, I think. What is the best way to arrange the place of the text of a particular logo? Either underneath it or beside the logo. One more thing, is there any standards to follow if choosing the font? Thank you very, very, very much. Greatly comment. Thank you for your question. What is the best way to arrange the place of the text of a particular logo? Like, it's a hard question to ask or answer, sorry, because I need to see like a logo to answer it. But as you can see here, I'll bring out the Apple box again. You've got iPhone right here, and you've got the logo emblem here. Now, that's part of Apple's logo, is in the actual Apple. It's the main one. They've also got the typographic one, which just says Apple in this certain font. I think it's Tahoma, the font. Not too sure, but the iPhone part is on the side on par. If it's like a circular logo, I'll put it on the right. If it's sort of like a detailed logo, put it on the top, and then on the bottom you can have the text. It really just depends. To understand that, or to work out that of where to put your text in correlation with your logo, look at what other people have done and then see if you can come up with something new. I guess that's another way in which you could do it. Okay. In which file and format, what file and format do you send your logo to the client? Okay, so what I generally do, I don't know if I can screen share. Let's have a look. Can I do it? I don't know if I should do it. I won't do that. I've got loads of stuff open in the background. The way that I send my images to the clients is in a very safe way. On the Mac, you have like a screen capture button, and if you press Command Shift and 4, you get a screen capture like box where you can fit it around. It's like basically selecting a key area. And what I'll do is I'll design like the logo in Illustrator, and if they want to preview it, which I will do at the end of every day, I'll give a logo or the preview of the work that I've done for them, whether if it's the small amount of work or a huge amount of work. I'll give like a screenshot of that, and that's just to protect myself, and so they can see it. If I gave them like a 1080p picture of what they wanted, they could just say, right, okay, you can I'm not going to pay you anymore or whatever. I've got what I want. Or if I gave them the Illustrator file, they have that and it's not theirs, and they haven't paid for it yet. So it's a bit difficult. So what I do is I only give them screenshots, or I give clients screenshots of what I've done. So if they try to use it, it'll be pixelated, and also they can't trace it up in Illustrator after because it'll be too hard to trace. And at the end, after they've paid me at the end, I will go ahead and send them all the relevant files. So all the .ai files, all the PSD files and stuff like that, and all the images that I've taken on my phone for it. So there you go. Hello, Carol. Nice to see you. Text logos or emblem logos for fashion business. It really depends on your fashion business. If you're going for a vintage style business of fashion, I'll go for a typographic logo and maybe have like a very small emblem within that. I wouldn't go like massively out onto the hot emblem side of things. I would stick with the what's it called? I would stick with the typographic logo for vintage. If it's modern, typographic and emblem, but the emblem has to be like at the right scale. Look at Adidas. Look at the look at Adidas and like companies like that, Nike. All their logos and stuff have an emblem and typographic logo as well. So you need to have both for newer ones, but it really depends on your company's feel of what you want to use the logo on. A lot of these questions are subjective more than objective, and I'll let you know when they are. Okay, lots of love from India. Thank you, Gareth. Wanted to ask, how did you become a designer? I've already said how to become a designer, but basically I'll go for it like very quickly again. I was at college, and I felt like I needed to, by God, go and become a graphic designer after my first year, and I did, and that's where I am. Okay, so these questions are like piling in, so I'm trying to go through them all. So Lou's got another question saying, I'm currently working hourly and they're paying me $10 an hour for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for graphic designing. I use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, etc. What should I do or tell them? I have a lot of questions. I mean, I think you're in a pretty good situation there. You're better than most. Louis, if that's the, I don't know how to say your name, I'll just call you Louis. If you're, don't complain about the small earnings that you make now, because they'll become bigger earnings as you progress. If you want a pay rise, simply go and tell them, do your work to the best of your ability, go above and beyond to your employer, I would say. Any good website to download mockups or vectors for free? No, there isn't, because and if there was, I wouldn't link one anyway, because like I can give you guys vectors, but you guys also support me. Actually, no, I would give you it. What am I saying? I would give you it and make it easier. It's early here, but I'm ready. So I'm getting a lot of comments from different places. I'm just having a look really quick. Don't know what's going on. These are strange. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page again. I'll go into a different tab, and we will be able to see what's going on here. I hope the stream looks okay for you guys. And the screen's wobbling, by the way, because I moved my leg. I have like a restless leg. If you're on the stream, could you please go ahead and tweet out that I'm streaming and ask anyone to come in, because I've only got like quarter of an hour left before it finishes. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of these questions as fast as I can. And if anyone's trying to email me, I won't be answering any emails. I've noticed that a couple of you guys have been emailing me. How old am I? Now, I don't ever... Okay, I will tell you how old I am. I'm 20, turning 21. And the reason why I don't really say that very much is because it can affect the graphic design of my business. A lot of people or companies may think that because I'm only like 21, that I haven't got the experience of someone who's 35, but also I'm in the bracket of where I like apparently know everything that there needs to be about pop culture. So what I give to them will be good for the young adults of today. So sometimes companies will think we're too young, sometimes we think we're too old. So I just generally don't say it very much, but I'm 21 years old, nearly 21 in a few weeks' time. Okay, let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. What are your favorite design resources? I love creativemarket.com. There's a link in the description if you want to go, and I think there is, I'm not too sure, I might be lying. There isn't. If you go into one of my other videos, there's a link in the description for Creative Market, and you can go and check that out if you wanted to. I'm just going to go up and put newest first here. Check out the newest. Okay, do you ask? This is from Florin Bin. What a name! I love your name. Do you ask the clients to pay a certain percent of the sum before you begin to work, and the rest after? Yeah, I do. This is what everyone should do. You should never start work unless you get paid what's called a deposit. And a deposit is basically a certain amount of money that's given to you at first. And that's to set in stone that you're working from them. So even before you begin work, even before you start conceptualizing the logo, you get the deposit. And what that does is that if it's a long project, it'll pay for the amount of time that you're spending designing the logo. And then I always see it at the end as in like the rest of the payment as in the logo and the licensing to the rest of the other people. So I get paid half of what the commission price is. So if I get a commission price of £500, I will ask for half of that upfront of £250. And what that does is that it gives a bit of pressure to me that they've already paid. It makes me be on my feet, but also it leaves me excited for the rest of the payment at the end if you wanted to look at it like that. If you give me a second, guys, I'm just going to put out on Twitter that I'm streaming. I am now streaming. And if you guys can do that as well, retweet me if you want. I'm now, sorry guys, I'm now doing Q&A on my YouTube. If I can spell YouTube correctly. YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Come check it out. I don't know if I've still got that. If I paste it in. No, I can't paste it in. Let's tweet that out. Hopefully that'll be okay. Awesome. Right. Next question. What's a PC configuration that you recommend for Adobe Photoshop to run on Windows? Dude, I don't know. I don't work on Windows. Sorry, Shakir. I don't think there needs to be a specification or like a configuration for that. The thing that I would worry about is Illustrator on a computer without an NVIDIA graphics card installed. On a Mac, it's just generally there for you already. So that's what I go off. That's what I base my thing off. A Mac is much easier for me and more reliable. Okay, let's have a look. Do you have any recommendations for ways to learn graphic design basics? I can create logos fairly easily since it's just a single object, but I have a really hard time designing leaflets and flyers where you need to create a strong layout where multiple things are all working together. Yeah, I have the same problem as you, dude. What's your name? Obviously Dax. I better be careful. You guys will have a name that's rude and I'll say it. Anyway, yeah, so basically I have the same problem as you, is in like layout is a bit difficult for me. I mean, I can do it, but I don't always enjoy doing layout design because it's mainly grids. Hello to Pastor Ben. Pastor Ben, the pastor of my church, is watching. I've just got your message. You're a legend. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Anyway, yeah, so what was that question? You've totally thrown me off, Ben. I can create logos simply. Okay, so layout, within layout design, which is generally like text boxes and stuff like that, I always say that works a bit difficult for me. So hence why I have people who, if I create the brand as in the logo, and I'll tell the people that are working with me what to do for the business card, and they'll do it. because the layout design is a bit difficult for me, and that's because I've never really spent so much time on it, because I do a lot of logo design work, and I do a lot of work where it's just single shapes as well. But the best way to learn this is to go and buy magazines or go and search online for the layout grid. I can't remember what it's called. There's like a certain website where it helps you understand about layout. Oh, hang on. This will be a good way for you to learn. So in your notepad, if you've got a square paper notepad, all my letters are squared, or all the pages are squared, you can create some boxes. Now, what I generally like to do is create, if I was to create a magazine cover, is I would use this and I would mark out a magazine, or the paper would be the magazine cover. And then within that cover, I would have squares for where the title is going to go, or for where the description is going to go. And I might have something on the side to tell you all the top stories. That is basically how you do it. And it's the same with flyer design, is in everything has to work together, but the main part of it is the spacing. So work on the spacing, and that's the conceptualizing stages. And if you wanted to go check that out, wait 1 week when my course is coming out on curious.com for logo design, where I talk a lot about conceptualizing and gridding your logo. So that's basically a bit of a recommendation to you. It's just to go ahead and draw out your grids to help you. Okay, so hi Will, can you tell me a little about the process of actually becoming a freelancer? This is from Wildfiery. I don't know your name. Okay, so here you go. Hi Will, can you tell me a little bit about the process of becoming an actual freelance designer? For example, registering with HMRC, keeping accounts, etc. Thanks, pal. No worries, dude. This bit I hate, because I hate the tax man. I don't understand it. I have people who help me, such as my dad. The way you register, for me, I'm registered as the man, William Paterson. And I might have to change my title, because I think they're thinking it's a bit of a joke that I'm called the man. But that aside, I'm registered as a sole trader, or a sole business, or whatever, a one-man business, or whatever you call it. And I did that when I got told to by the government. They'll send you a letter saying, what are you doing? And then you go and register for self-employment. That's what it's called, self-employment. So I went and registered that I'm self-employed, and that's how I did it. And then every year I basically have a website. I use a website called Thrive Solo. If you type in Thrive Solo in Google, you can go to that. And that basically is a place for freelance designers like us to keep track of all our money, all of the earnings and the expenses that are coming in. It's basically a massive planner. It'll plan your times. It'll keep time records. It's really good. It's about £13 a month, but that's a place where I just export all of that stuff at the end of the financial year. And I might do another, what's it called, a graph for it, and give it into HMRC, or just type it in. So it is difficult at first to understand it, but go to the job center if you're getting if you're from the UK, go to the job center and they'll help you out with your tax things or your self-assessment, because that's what you need to do. No matter how much you've earned, if you're a graphic designer, you need to give a self-assessment, no matter if you're taxed or if you're tax exempt. Okay, so then next questions is this. What is the best logo you have ever made? The best logo I've ever made, I don't have one. I like all my logos. That's a question that everyone should ask themselves before they're doing the logo they're creating there. If I've got a client who's asking me to do a logo and they're paying me, then I want to make sure that that logo that I'm doing there is the best logo you could do, is in the best logo that I could possibly do at that point in time. I'll spend my time on it. I will spend money on it if I needed to, and I'll learn different techniques, and I'll go above and beyond to make sure that that logo is exactly the way they want it. So I've not got a best logo, because every time I do a logo, I personally think that's the best logo I've created, if you get my drift. So it's all about becoming better and better each time. When did you start designing, and is there any bright career in logo designing? Okay, so I'm going to have to translate that a little bit. So I started designing a few years ago. I'm not going to answer any more questions about when I started. I started about 3 years ago with my business, but I've been playing around with Photoshop and different programs for a few years. But is there a bright career in logo designing? Yeah, there is, but only for those that are willing to put the work in it. A lot of people don't like logo design because, one, it's hard to get into a university for it. And when you come out of university, I hear about it all the time from you guys that there is no jobs. So you have to go freelance, but then you don't know what you're doing when you're freelance. You have no experience. And clients that come up to you personally will say, I want to see your experience. And then you end up working for free, and then you damage the sort of community of logo designers, and then everyone else gets paid less. That's the way it works when it goes wrong. The brighter side is, if you keep practicing and if you keep going above and beyond in your logo designs, and your attitude is wanting to do more and get better every time, then you will get companies coming towards you and asking for work for you, and they'll give you work, and yeah, it'll be a bright logo design career. But basically, don't ever I never really focus on the money whilst I'm working. I have Naomi who does that for me. She works on a Monday. Thanks for the tweet, Ben. Yeah, I have Naomi who works on a Monday, who does all of like the money and the email stuff. And that's to stop me worrying about it, because worry and pressure do not work well with me whilst I'm doing logo design. It sort of takes me focus off it a tiny bit. But okay, so let's have a look at what else. Oh no, I'll answer that question again. So basically, yeah, there is a bright side to doing logo design work, and it is a good career to have. But there is a lot of risk involved in the way that I'm doing it. Or a lot of people may think there is a risk, but as I've said before, like, I believe Jesus wants me to do this, and I believe that, he's going to look after me whilst I'm doing this. And I've got lovely parents, and an awesome wife to be that's going to support me through it. So for me, it's looking pretty bright. But for you guys, you need to understand that there's a big risk within logo design working freelance. So if you don't want the risk, go to university and try and get into a studio as soon as you can to get a paid job every month. Okay. So the next, I'm going to drink my coffee for a sec. I've got a really girly mug. Sorry. What was your process for developing your personal brand logo identity? All right. So my process for my personal brand was a mixture of everything that I like. So on my actual logo, and I hate to say it, but it's changing again as soon as I can, I'm allowed to change it by the trademarking. Basically, I like to make things look nice. So that's what I put on it. At the top, you can see that of my logo, making things look good. And that's basically what I do. And I put that on there as small text. And I like the vintage style. I like the idea of having like a wolf there. Don't know why I had the wolf there, but it made it look nice. And the process was, I want to make this look nice, but I also want to have fun with this. So that's how I did it. The new logo, though, is basically just type. It's just one brush script. But I might keep that as an emblem for YouTube or my business card or something. Not too sure yet. But the process behind it was like, I drew down on paper what I like. I had an image in my head of what I wanted. So it's generally very easy for me. So there wasn't much of a process. The process comes when you design for someone else. If you get my drift, I hope you understand that. Okay, I'm going to refresh the stream again so I can see all your new questions. They keep piling in. It's 1 o'clock, but I'm going to keep going for another 10, 15 minutes because I've got people wanting to speak to me. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. When I'm using like Google Hangout, it just absolutely freaks my YouTube app out. I can't even check my analytics. Lol. Don't know what is going on. I'll just go ahead and look at these again. Just refreshing the page. Takes a while sometimes. Okay. Come on, comments, flipping heck. Are you guys enjoying the stream? I hope you are. That's an L, not an I. Do you ask clients to pay a certain percentage of the sum before you begin the work? Hey, that's an L, not an I. I don't get that. Okay, so I'm having a look at the newest comment. Yep, let's have a look. I'm a beginner and I want to start working as a logo designer. Okay, I need to answer other people's logos. So, sorry, I need to answer other people's questions, not logos. I don't know if this has been asked already, but how long have you been learning Illustrator and Photoshop? Like, did you start teaching yourself at a younger age, and how are you here now? So, how long have I been on Illustrator and Photoshop? I've been on Illustrator and Photoshop for like 3 years. I guess Photoshop for more than 3 years. I've been on it since I was like small, because my dad is a doctor, or was a doctor. He's retired now, but he has got a fascination within taking pictures. That's his hobby, and he's got really nice cameras and stuff. And I would use his computer to play with Photoshop. But my fascination for like graphic design in Photoshop was from guys in church doing like all the flyer designs, and I took a real big fascination from there. And then in school, I'll be using Photoshop, the newest versions, because it was there available for me to use. And in college, I would start using it. And then in college, I did a business administration course. So within that course, I went ahead and I opted in to do the design work for the different projects that we're doing. Say if we were pitching to a company or a fake company within our college, I would do all the brand identity, and it looked terrible, but like I really enjoyed it, and that's how I got into it. And then what was it? Like, did you start teaching yourself? And how am I here now? I'm here now because I practiced and I was faithful and kept on going, I guess. I don't want to sound big-headed, but that's how it is. Let's have a look. I'm a beginner and I want to start working as a logo designer. From where can I start and how? If you're a beginner, it's been a while since I've been doing beginner stuff, but let's put the chat back on. Sorry about that. It's been a while since I did a beginner video. Oh, wow. Someone's actually asked a question. Okay, got it. So if you want to start doing logo designs, look on videos online, make sure you're buying books, and just have a notepad and start drawing things. Draw your ideas down. Show people online. I'm going to be doing more of these hangouts with you guys probably every month or every other month, maybe, depending on how busy I am. But I would, just start practicing by having a notepad or drawing simple shapes and then analyzing other people's logos. So what I used to do is analyze the Apple logo. And like recently, I put out a post on Instagram of the Apple logo that is like all done with circles that have been like subtracted from circles and stuff. And it shows you a different perspective of what logo design is, and that'll help you hopefully get better to where you are. Okay, so I'm selecting this question. Don't know what's going on. I'm currently answering why Adobe Illustrator have you worked? Why Adobe Illustrator have you worked with Corel? Okay, so I get a lot of people asking me this question. Why do I work specifically in Adobe Illustrator? And I know there is a lot of I know there's a lot of other applications that I could use aside from Adobe Illustrator, but you have to remember, like, Adobe Illustrator is the most known to me, so I'll teach that. I don't fancy looking for a different software or anything like that. I don't fancy looking at different places like Corel or Autodesk or something, because I know how to use Illustrator. It'll be a waste of my time not to use Illustrator. There might be some things within Corel that you find easier than Illustrator, but it's very subjective. There's nothing new. Illustrator, I think, brings out the best and the most used tools that you can use. So I could do anything within Illustrator that I wanted to at the minute. And they keep bringing amazing updates, and it's got a subscription service now. And that's why I use Illustrator, just because it's the bee's knees. Have you worked with Corel? I have not worked with Corel. I don't think I will, unless like Illustrator gets really bad. Okay, new question. I'm guessing. Could you get by with just Photoshop? No, I couldn't. I use Photoshop about 2% of my time. if I was putting something out onto Instagram that's like being designed for like, you know, if I made a logo in Illustrator, I spend like 5 hours doing that logo, sending it back and forth to the client, and then at the end, what I'll do is I'll take that vector out and I'll put it within Photoshop, and I'll design the background to make it look nice and aesthetically pleasing for the client to look at. That's the only time I use Photoshop, and also just to edit my images if I needed to. Not even that, I have Lightroom now, so I don't really need to use Photoshop very much. But yeah, I don't really use Photoshop at all. It's mainly Illustrator. So I hope that helps with that question. If you've got any questions, these guys have been asking them in a weird place on the right hand side of my screen. So that's cool. Right, okay. I'm going to refresh the stream again. I'm actually going to check my notifications for a second. So look, let's go down. It's early here, but I'm ready. Thanks for the invitation. I don't think these are new. These are quite old, I'm reckoning. Oh, wow. Okay, so how does royalty and trademarks work in design? So I don't really know the answer to that one. I'm going to be honest. Trademarking works in business terms. Just because you have the letters T and M in a circle next to your logo does not mean it's trademarked. You have to actually pay to be trademarked, and you have to have people to survey what you're doing. I'm trademarked, and I know I don't need the T and the M, because if anyone nicks my logo, then like, well, why? Well, why would anyone? But yeah, so basically royalty works as in someone wants to use my design, I get paid as well. So say if you put like a song on by, like, I don't know, Steel Panther on your YouTube video, you can't monetize it, but they get paid from that, I think. Yeah, they get paid from that video somehow. I think that's the way it works, but it's a lot different within graphic design, I think. The copyright is different. Copyright is basically if I've created something that is mine, that's my intellectual property, and I'm not going to allow anyone to use that unless they get written permission. So copyright works as in, if you've created something, it's not theirs unless you sign an agreement saying that they can use it for a specific amount of time. I've done it for people where I've created something like a poster or a design, and someone says, I like that, can we use that? And I said, yes, let me send you over a contract so you don't go ahead and carry on using it when I don't want you to, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so can you make some videos on how to start as a logo designer? I've made quite a few videos, dude, about that. But yeah, so I've made quite a few. I'm going to answer other people's questions at the minute. You said you love my name, but you read it bin, and it's BLN. I'm sorry, dude. I'm really horrible, aren't I? I read it Bill. I started calling this dude Bin. I'm sorry. Lol. Okay, I'm just trying to refresh the page. Google Hangouts isn't as good as I thought it would be, actually. Let's have a look at the Q&A. There's a place in Google where you can ask questions. Okay. Do you plan on doing tutorials via a Hangout? That's a good idea. And I was planning on doing like a Hangout where I could show you guys what I do. I was planning on also like, hang on, let me just go into my, I need to go into my live control room for a sec. But I think it'll be a cool idea to do tutorials via Hangout where you guys can ask questions, but it might be a bit manic. So it's a good idea that I'll actually go ahead and do. I'd say I've selected that question. So yeah, hang on. I'm just going to check this. Okay, no worries. Okay. Do you collaborate with other creators? Yes, I do. Not as much as I want to, but whenever I'm working on like a project or whatever, I generally will collaborate, and I will generally get other clients with me, or sorry, other creatives with me, whether they're photographers or like musicians or whatever. They'll work with what I'm doing. Unfortunately, a lot of my work can't be posted on YouTube or my portfolio, but I'm working to change that, as in I'm working to change my contracts and stuff. But a lot of my logo design work with everything else is collaborative. with other people as well. Okay, let's have a look at this. I sometimes get question and answers. If you want your question to be answered, go to the Google Hangout thing where you can ask the question. The comment section, I don't know what's going on with it, but there you go. Okay, let's have a look. Well, I had to tune out because it needs to be done. Good job. No worries, dude. This guy's just tuned out, but that is absolutely fine. I'm not going to be on for much longer. But what do you think about the new subscription for Adobe products? Okay, so the new subscription for Adobe products, I don't actually mind it. I think it's a lot easier than it is to pay like a few £100s. In the long run, it's more expensive, but in the short run, anyone can use it. I think it's allowed everyone to legally access Illustrator and Photoshop and different things. I think it's great because it means that you guys can use the tools that I'm using, and you know, that's about it. And you renew it every year if you wanted to. If you don't, you've wasted like a year's subscription. But you know, it's good. I mean, I'm really happy about it. I'm very happy about it even. Okay, so I keep getting +1. I don't understand this comment system. Right. Okay, let's have a look at any other questions. And if we're done, I might stop. Guys, remember tonight, I'm actually doing it again. This wasn't planned. It was planned about an hour before I started this stream. But I'm doing it again because I think we've got about 20 people watching, 20, 30 people watching every on this stream. And that's great. But I want to open it up to more people. And I know a lot of people are at work at the minute. So I'm going to be doing one tonight for an hour, but it'll only be an hour. This has been like more than an hour now. So yeah, I'll be opening it up tonight. It's 7 o'clock my time. So it's 1:15 for me, and I'll be doing it again at 7. But it's taking quite a while to actually load this. Okay, let's have a look at the new comments. If you've got any. It's honestly awesome that you're here answering questions, dude. Anyway, I've got confidence in Photoshop and Illustrator, and I'm about to start my own little studio company thing, but I know little to none about the businessy aspect of it. Excuse me. I'm assuming you might come from a similar place of mine. They've been heck, I need a drink. I'm assuming that you might come from a similar place from as to mine. How do you understand the business aspect of this role? To understand the business side of stuff, it's very simple. You're providing a service to someone, and the business aspect of it, I mean, there's other things inside that, giving a service like licensing and stuff, but you get the gist of it. Look at it online. I can't really give you everything at the minute, dude, but I can't give you all the advice for the business aspect at the minute. But I would suggest looking online, look at the government pages for giving services to people. And getting paid services. Look at where you're going to get paid, how much you need to be paid to break it even. Because remember, you've got to buy a computer, you've got like pens and stuff to buy, graphics tablets, different things. And if you're not breaking even, that's not looking good. And, you know, that's basically the business side of it, is in you got to break even, but you've also got to be giving a good service. Okay, let's have a look. Any more comments? Is it easy to be accused of plagiarism in graphic design? That's a good question. Yeah, it is. I've never been accused of plagiarism, but companies have tried to make me plagiarize people's logos before, and that's not good. A lot of companies have actually gone ahead and said, we want our logo to be like this. And I've said, well, I'm not doing that. And then they like sort of fire me because I won't plagiarize other people's logos. If your logo, if I did an Apple logo and then missed a bit at the top, like that's still me plagiarizing the logo, isn't it? It looks ridiculously the same. And yeah, that you could be accused then. But I guess it's not that easy, as in there's a lot of loopholes that you can go through. But it depends if you're earning money from that logo. I could like create a logo, and then if I said it was mine, but it was earning no money from it, then, you know, it's a bit different when you're earning money. The company will want to take you to court. Okay, do you know which, hi, I can't spell your name, but so I'm going to call you Grasso because that's your last name. Watch me work 100. I'm watching you now. If you're interested in setting up your Hangout tonight, through. I don't know what you're saying. So I'll look at your tweet in a minute, dude. What does it say? Do you know which are the best universities, colleges in the UK to study graphic design? I don't really give much notice to that. Sorry, I'm watching me work. Oh, hi, watch me work. I'll see about it later, but I'm doing the hangout thing just now. But the best colleges and universities in the UK, I reckon. There's a college really close to me called Teesside Uni, and they're pretty decent. I reckon there's no better college than there isn't. I know there's one I can't remember the name of in London and Manchester that is pretty cool. I don't want to say a wrong name, but like you got to be careful which universities and colleges you go to, because sometimes you'll only come out with a portfolio. But if you're going to uni, you might as well get a qualification and the experience out of it. Colleges, I think it's very good to go to a vocational college to get fake assignments and fake briefs from fake companies and do your work like that. Because that gives you experience with what a client would actually be like, and you'll be surprised at what like companies will be like with you. As in, it is quite daunting sometimes. So I think college and universities, it doesn't really matter where you go. Just do your research. Look at the reviews online. We've got the internet that will tell us different things. So go and check it out online. Okay, let's have a look at the new questions. There should be more. I might have actually answered them all. Have I answered all these questions? Oh my days. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I need to do some work in a few minutes. Okay, I've got another question rolling in. I'm just going to check on my hangout of another question that is rolling in. Okay, I was born. Hang on. What does this say? Let's have a look. This takes a while. I was born in England and moved to Australia. I'm only 15, but was thinking of moving back once I have qualifications. My question to you is, do you think there's a big enough demand for graphic design in England? And in your opinion, do you think it would be worth moving back? I think England is one of the best places to do graphic design work. A lot of the fascination about me and my work is that I'm British. So the fact that the Apple, I can't remember his name, but the guy who designs everything for Apple, is British as well, and that sort of gives an elegant feel to, I think, a lot of Americans. Sorry if you're American, but that's what I've been told on YouTube, and it's a very weird phenomenon. But I think there is definitely a market for graphic design all the time, no matter where you are. And if there isn't, you have to make a demand for it. If there isn't a need, make a need for it, as in you have to point out a need. One way I got work when I was younger, like a year ago, or sorry, not a year, a few years ago, was I would email a company telling them a need. I would tell them the problem and I would say that I could fix it. Basically, I said, you haven't got a decent logo, I could do you one. And that's how I got work when I was younger. But I think if there isn't a demand where you are, then you're not looking in the right places. At the minute, I know there's a huge demand because I get asked all the time to do work, and I choose the best people that I want to work with. And, I enjoy that. I don't have to go to the client anymore. So I know there's definitely demand. It's about whether you're being known in like the community. Like there's a big like sections, as in like if you're known or not known. As in I'm quite known in the logo design community at the minute. Like that might change later on. But yeah, so it depends. You have to be known to get the work emailed to you. If you aren't known, then it's hard. You have to go find the work a little bit. But do you think it's worth moving back? I don't know. Are you happy where you are now? I'm not too sure. Whatever you think, dude, I don't mind. You can move back to England if you want. I'm just checking for any more questions because what I'll do is I'm going to go in like 1 minute's time because I need to finish off some work. Okay, I'll be going in 1 minute. And I'll be working till late tonight as well because of this. Okay, last question. Hey, Joel. Anyway, Q, is there what? Someone, James White. Who's this? Let me just check your comment for a second. I didn't really understand it then. Okay, so question. Is graphic design good enough to get a job? And is that in the areas near you, what would you recommend to get practice on the side? So I can't understand your question, dude. Sorry. Hey, what up, Sonny? I Jonathan, I don't really like his work because he uses weird colors. Hey, right. Sorry, hang on a sec. I'm trying to work out what people are saying. I've got like two of my mates in the call now. Let's have a look. Right, that's all the questions basically been asked, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go. It's a lot of questions, but I'm going to go and head off now. Guys, check out the little e-cards on the right up here. I think if you check out up here, there's like a little arrow thing that you can go and check out my website and all that. If you guys want to be tonight, I'll be on at 7 o'clock roundabout, and I'll be doing another question and answer for people who have been at work all day. So that shows you how much I love you guys. So I'm going to go home, not home. I'm going to carry on working here, get some lunch, and yeah. And I'll catch you guys tonight. Thank you so much for like all your questions. I didn't know how it would go. You know, there wasn't many of us, but there was too many questions. So I'm happy about that. I'm really happy. I'm going to go before I die of hunger and everything like that. But thank you so much for all your time, and I hope you got something out of it. This will be uploaded later on if you want to go and check it out again. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.